There's a reason you feel distracted all the time. There's a reason you sit down to do something important and within minutes you're doing something else. There's a reason you feel restless, even when nothing is wrong. And it's not what you think. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of discipline. It's not that you just need to try harder. Because if that were true, you would have fixed it by now. Think about how many times you've told yourself, tomorrow I'll focus. Tomorrow I'll be more disciplined. Tomorrow I'll finally get things done. And maybe for a day you do. But then something happens. You check your phone, you open an app, you get pulled into something small, and suddenly your attention is gone again. And it doesn't feel like a decision, it feels automatic. That's the part most people don't understand. This isn't a willpower issue, this is a conditioning issue. Your brain has been trained slowly, consistently, over time to expect constant stimulation. And now anything less than that feels uncomfortable. Not because it is uncomfortable, but because your baseline has changed. Let me put it simply. You're not failing to focus. Your brain has learned to avoid it. Once you understand why, everything starts to make sense. Because what you're experiencing isn't random. It's predictable. It's neurological. And it's happening to almost everyone right now. Today, we're going to break down 7 signs that your brain is addicted to dopamine. Not in an extreme way, but in a subtle, everyday way that quietly destroys your ability to focus, think, and build anything meaningful. And more importantly, we're going to understand what to do about it. Let's get started. Part 1: Understanding the system. Before we go into the signs, we need to understand something fundamental. Dopamine is not what most people think it is. It's not the chemical of pleasure, it's the chemical of pursuit. It's what drives you towards something. It's what makes you want to check your phone before you even realize you're doing it. And this is where things get interesting, because dopamine doesn't spike when you receive a reward. It spikes when you anticipate one. That means your brain is constantly scanning your environment for potential rewards. And in today's world, those rewards are everywhere. Your phone lights up, you get a notification, you see a new video, a message, a like, a comment. Each one is small, but together they create a constant stream of stimulation, and your brain adapts to that. It starts expecting it. It raises the threshold for what feels normal. So now, when you sit down to do something slower, like reading, working, thinking, it doesn't feel engaging. Not because it's boring, but because your brain has been conditioned to expect something faster. This is why focus feels harder, silence feels uncomfortable, and doing nothing feels almost impossible. Not because you've changed, but because your environment has, and your brain has adapted to it. Part 2: The 7 signs. Sign number 1: you can't sit without reaching for something. There's a moment that reveals this more clearly than anything else. You sit down, you're not busy, there's nothing urgent, and within seconds you feel the urge to do something. Not because you need to, but because you can't stay still. So you reach for your phone. You open something, anything. And the strange part is, you don't even remember deciding to do it. It just happens. That's not random behavior. That's conditioning. Your brain has learned stillness equals to no stimulation. No stimulation equals to discomfort. And discomfort equals to acting immediately. So you act. And every time you do, you reinforce the loop. Sign number 2: your attention breaks easily. You start something important, maybe it's work, maybe it's studying, maybe it's something you actually care about. And in the beginning, you're focused, laser focused. But then something small happens: a thought, a moment of boredom, a notification, and suddenly your attention shifts. You check something quickly, just for a second, but that second turns into minutes, and those minutes turn into lost time. And afterward, you feel it, that frustration, not because you don't know what to do, but because you couldn't stay with it. This is what dopamine conditioning does. It lowers your tolerance for sustained effort. Your brain starts preferring quick rewards over meaningful progress. Sign number 3: you're constantly switching. Watch how you move through your day. You're watching something while also checking your phone. You're working, but also thinking about something else. You're eating, but you need a video in front of you. It's never just one thing, it's always layered, and it feels normal. But what's actually happening is your brain is stacking stimulation because one source is no longer enough. And over time, this destroys your ability to go deep because depth requires stillness, and stillness now feels unfamiliar. Sign number 4. You feel bored more than you should. There was a time when simple things felt engaging: conversations, thinking, books. Now they feel slower, heavier, harder to stay with. So you look for something else, something easier, something faster. And here's the problem: the more you rely on fast stimulation, the less satisfying slow activities become. It's not that they changed, your brain did. Sign number 5. You procrastinate what actually matters. You know what needs to be done. You're aware of it. You've thought about it, planned it, maybe even started it. But when it's time to do the work, you delay. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain is choosing comfort. Quick stimulation feels easier, and your brain has been trained to prioritize that. So it avoids effort, not consciously, but automatically. Sign number 6. You feel restless in silence. Silence used to be neutral. Now it feels uncomfortable, almost like something is missing. So you fill it. Music, podcasts, videos, constant input. Because without it, your mind becomes loud. And that's what you're trying to avoid. You can't stay still without niggling thoughts in your head. But here's the truth: that discomfort is not a problem, it's a signal that your brain is overstimulated. Sign number 7. You struggle to be present. Even when you're somewhere important, you're not fully there. You're thinking about something else, checking something else, waiting for something else. Your attention is divided, and over time, this becomes your default state: not present, not focused, just partially engaged. Part 3: What this is actually doing to you. So let's slow this down, because this is the part most people don't fully understand. This isn't just about being distracted, it's not just about wasting time. This is about how your brain is being reshaped every single day. And the scary part, it's happening quietly. Think about how your day usually looks. You wake up, and within minutes, you're already consuming something: social media, notifications, messages. Before your mind even has a chance to settle, it's already reacting. Then, throughout the day, you move from one stimulus to another: short bursts of attention, constant switching, quick hits of information, the news, and over time, this changes how your brain operates. Number 1, your attention span shrinks. Attention is like a muscle. The less you use it properly, the weaker it becomes. If you constantly train your brain to react instantly, seek stimulation, switch quickly, then sustained focus starts to feel unnatural. Not impossible, just uncomfortable. And here's where it becomes dangerous. Because the things that actually move your life forward require sustained attention. Deep work, learning, building something meaningful. These aren't fast. They're slow. They require you to stay with one thing long enough for progress to happen. But if your brain has been conditioned for speed, it resists this slowness. So you avoid it, not consciously, but automatically. Number 2, you lose depth in thinking. Another shift happens that's harder to notice. Your thinking becomes shallow, not because you're less intelligent, but because you're not staying with thoughts long enough. You start something, then you switch. You begin reflecting, then you interrupt it. You get an idea, but you don't explore it fully. And over time, you lose the ability to go deeper. You start living on the surface level, reacting instead of reflecting, consuming instead of understanding. Number three, you become reactive instead of intentional. This might be the biggest one. When your brain is used to constant input, you stop choosing what you focus on. Your environment chooses for you. A notification pulls you, a video grabs you, a message redirects you, and your day becomes a series of reactions. Instead of, I'm going to focus on this, it becomes, I'll just check this quickly. I'll just respond to this. I'll just watch this for a few seconds. And those justs add up until the entire day is gone. Number four, you lose control without realizing it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people think they're in control because nothing feels extreme. They're not addicted in an obvious way. They're functioning, they're working, they're living. But underneath that, their attention is fragmented. Their focus is unstable. Their mind is constantly pulled outward. And when that happens, you're not fully directing your life. You're just drifting through it. Number five, your identity starts to shift. This is the part almost no one talks about. Your habits don't just affect what you do, they affect how you see yourself. If every day looks like avoidance, distraction, inconsistency, then slowly your identity changes. You start thinking, I always procrastinate. I just can't focus. I'm not disciplined. And those thoughts start to feel true, even though they're just patterns. Patterns created by your environment, not your ability. So now, step back for a second. This isn't about blaming technology. It's not about saying everything is bad. It's about understanding what's happening. Because once you see it clearly, you stop taking it personally. You stop thinking, there's something wrong with me. And you start realizing, my brain adapted to the environment I gave it. And if it adapted once, it can adapt again. Part 4, How to Reset Your Brain. Now, this is where most people go wrong. They try to fix everything at once. They go extreme, delete everything, cut everything off, try to become perfect overnight. And it doesn't last because your brain resists sudden change. So instead of going extreme, you go intentional. Step 1, Reduce stimulation, not eliminate. You don't need to disappear. You just need to lower the intensity. Think of it like this. Right now, your brain is operating at a very high baseline of stimulation. So your job is to slowly bring that baseline down. That means fewer unnecessary checks, less mindless scrolling, more intentional use. Not zero, just less, because even small reductions create space. Step 2, Rebuild your tolerance for focus. Focus is not something you have, it's something you train. And right now, your tolerance is low. So don't expect to suddenly focus for hours. Start small, 10 minutes. Fully focused, no switching, no interruptions. Then stop. The next day, do it again. Then increase it. What you're doing here is retraining your brain. You're teaching it this is normal again. Step 3, Sit with the discomfort. This is the hardest step, but it's the most important because every time you feel bored, your instinct is to escape. But boredom is not the problem. Boredom is the reset point. It's what your brain feels when it's no longer overstimulated. So instead of escaping it, stay with it, even for a minute, then two, then longer. And what you'll notice is this: the discomfort fades, not instantly, but gradually. And in its place, you get something most people don't experience anymore: clarity. Step 4, Replace your input. You can't just remove stimulation, you need to replace it. But the replacement matters. If you replace fast stimulation with slightly slower but still passive content, nothing changes. Instead, choose things that require engagement, learning, writing, reading, thinking. These don't give instant rewards, but they build something deeper. And over time, they become satisfying again. Step 5. Change how you measure progress. Most people measure progress like this. Did I feel focused today? Did I stay disciplined all day? That's the wrong metric because your brain is still adjusting. Instead, measure this. Did I return to focus when I got distracted? Did I reduce unnecessary input? Did I stay with discomfort a little longer than yesterday? Because progress is not perfection, it's direction. And if you stay consistent with this, something shifts. Not overnight, but gradually. You start noticing small changes. You don't reach for your phone as quickly. You can sit a little longer without needing something. You can focus just a bit more. And those small changes start compounding because you're not just changing habits, you're changing your baseline. You're teaching your brain this is what normal feels like now. And here's what most people don't realize: the goal was never to remove dopamine. That's impossible. The goal is to stop being controlled by it, to stop reacting automatically, to start choosing intentionally. Because when you regain control of your attention, everything else follows. Your thinking improves, your work improves, your consistency improves, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself improves. You stop seeing yourself as someone who can't focus and start seeing yourself as someone who's learning control. You don't need more discipline. You need to take your attention back. If this helped you see your habits more clearly, subscribe because this is where it starts.